Hi everybody, welcome to this reading. So this is one of my favorite readings to do. I haven't done a pick a card version of this in a while, but it is also a reading that I offer at my website for purchase. And if you purchase this reading, you will get to know who 2 of your spirit guides are, and you'll get a message from each of them. In this pick a card, we're just going to focus on one spirit guide for each of the 3 reading options and get a detailed, specific message from that particular guide about, what they need you to know and understand right now, or what they would like you to know and understand. All right, so we have 3 reading options here. Number 1 says Earth School, Life Lessons, Soul Growth, Study, Higher Learning. Number 2 says I'm Sorry, Defenselessness, Righting Past Wrongs and Uprooting. And number 3 says I Remember, Soul Plan, the Fated Life versus the Destiny Life. So just, get in touch with your intuition in whatever way works best for you. When you figure out which option or options seems to be calling out to you, just use the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you at your reading. Okay, welcome number 1, people. So the first thing that we're going to do is just try to figure out something about who this particular guide is. Okay, so it's a spirit animal, and we have a higher self. So I feel like this is a spirit animal that also, it could be like a totem animal for you, because this animal helps you to connect to your higher self. And I'm trying to think. I have a animal totem tarot deck. I don't know where it is. I was going to say maybe we can try to figure out which specific spirit animal it is. That would be a good deck to... Oh, here it is, right over here. Hold on. So I'm just going to ask, is this specific spirit animal in this deck? And if not, can you kind of give us clues? Okay, so it's a no, but the clues we have a tower. I don't even see what the spirit animal is on this card. Each of these is supposed to have a spirit animal. Well, it's definitely a very, maybe like a shocking or unusual animal. We also have the Queen of Wands and the 7 of Cups. An animal that could be associated with the element of water, but also the element of fire. And that makes sense over here too, because it's raining, but then we also have this lightning and it started a fire. It could be like a dragon, I feel like, because dragons can start fires. We also have dragonflies on here, and so that could be a clue. And then just the Queen of Wands, this is a lion, which is like a fierce, fiery animal. But I'm getting a no when I'm asking specifically if it's a dragon. But some sort of animal that connects to both the element of fire and the element of water. What type of animal is it? Well, I'm getting lost. I don't know. I don't know what this animal is. I feel like it's a mammal because I asked what type of animal and I got a mammal. And I pull it clarifier, get another mammal. So I feel like it's a mammal that is shocking in some way. I asked if it's a big animal or a small animal. And so I feel like it's a pretty big animal, but maybe a little bit smaller than a gorilla. Is it Sasquatch? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That is a unanimous yes. Okay. I'm sorry that took a while, but so that was kind of weird, but like, okay. So it's Sasquatch. Well, I would think Sasquatch would be bigger than a gorilla, but maybe I just misunderstood what that was meaning with it coming up reversed. Wow. Okay. So Sasquatch. That's an interesting spirit animal. Now, I do know that Sasquatches are telepathic, like people who report that they've met one, like they have like a spontaneous telepathic communication with them. So anyway, interesting. So I'm already feeling, just because of this card, that probably this Sasquatch spirit guide of yours is wanting to help you with some sort of lesson. What kind of lesson do they want to help you with? Definitely you're needing to see things from a different perspective, probably from like a quote-unquote higher perspective, like to be able to see it more the way that your higher self would see it. Because there is, you know, circumstances in your life are changing right now, and maybe you are needing to make certain sacrifices in order to take advantage of those changes and see them as opportunities. Maybe you're not quite seeing them as opportunities at the moment. But in order to take best advantage of these changes, it's very important to be able to see things not just from your own perspective, but from other people's perspective, and definitely, of course, from like the higher self perspective. There's the potential for a lot of happiness. You know, this might even be like growing your family, or, you know, finding your special someone. But this was reversed. So I feel like there are changes happening. Sacrifices are required with those changes that are happening. And there might be part of you that doubts that this happiness is possible. I do feel like a new person is being brought into your life in some way. And like I said, this could be like a love partner. It could be a child. It could be a friend. But someone new is coming in. And I feel like the way that this person is coming in is very surprising. But this ultimately will lead you to a victory. It will be a very victorious relationship. So I'm asking, why is it Sasquatch? Why is Sasquatch the one coming through? My initial message with the polar bear was reversed. It's like a typical like bear or something of this size just doesn't have the understanding that I have. I have a higher understanding, and I'm trying to connect you to a higher understanding. And my understanding is higher than that of like a typical animal. You know, I might have similarities to a bear or to a gorilla, but I'm very unique, obviously. And it is this uniqueness of being the Sasquatch that allows me to have this knowledge that you need. I feel like Sasquatch is also saying that there's going to be a lot of, you're going to have to put your knowledge and insight to good use here in order to avoid coming to harm or getting yourself really hurt. You know, they're saying these changes that are happening, this is a great opportunity. Someone's coming into your life. It's very positive, but there is a danger that if you don't approach it correctly, especially with your mind, just the way that you think about it, the way that you perceive it, could have a dramatic effect on how this plays out. You know, the opportunity is wonderful, and your guide wants you to take advantage of that opportunity in the very best way, because they don't want you to end up getting hurt. I feel like they are cautioning you to, definitely take your time here and take your time. Don't necessarily jump into anything. Maybe even pray on it. This is a praying mantis. Take time. Don't rush into it. Yes, changes are happening, so you might feel like, well, I have to do something now in order to best take advantage of this. The guidance is no. Just hold steady where you are. Give yourself time to really think about it. Give yourself time to look at it from everybody else's perspective to try to understand it better. And then when you know what to do, then do it. But don't feel like you have to act now before you really know for sure what you want to do about these changes. The opportunity isn't going to disappear right away. You have time to kind of like sit on it for a while and really think about it. Because when you do finally know what to do and how to act on it, it's going to require a real transformative experience, but that's good because great fortune is going to come of that. And we have so many major arcana cards coming up so far. So this is like, I feel like a major life moment for you. It's a major change in your life. Your Sasquatch guide is so happy for you. But they also just want you to be able to approach it in the right way. So yeah, I mean, just allow yourself to be thoughtful and have clarity about what you really want. And there will come a moment when you just know exactly what it is you should do to take advantage of this. And even though the Death card looks a little bit scary here, you're jumping into a transformative moment that is going to benefit you very much. But, they do want you to know as well that it will require a transformation. One of the transformations that will be required is in the past, you have been someone who maybe really gave a lot of your emotions in relationships, in interpersonal relationships. And there could be the danger of doing this again. We have the Queen of Cups reversed and then the Queen of Swords upright. You are meant to approach this in a much more logical, detached way rather than an emotionally indulgent way, which is maybe how you would have done it in the past. So what's the best way to do that? I feel like whoever this is coming in, it feels maybe more like a love interest or something. But like I said, it could be anyone who you would have a special close bond with. This person is very loving, and I feel like you can tell that they have loving feelings for you. And that's stirring up your emotions as well, but you're the Queen of Cups reversed. I feel like when things start to get emotional like this, you don't deal with it very well. Maybe your emotions overwhelm you, you feel like you're drowning in your emotions, or you need to like have some sort of emotional response towards this person coming into your life. Then you feel like you need to quickly make some sort of emotional response. But your guide is saying, no, just calm down and allow yourself to be more rational and detached. So if this viewer is not used to being rational and detached, what is your guidance for the best way to do that? Again, they want you to get the higher perspective even on your emotions. It's not like you have to forget that you have emotions or cut yourself off from them, but be like this owl looking down on this, lake, which is symbolic of your emotions. Observe your emotions more than getting lost in them. And it's okay to feel your emotions, especially the happier emotions, but I feel like your guide is feeling like you have a tendency to get lost in your more fearful emotions, and that in the past it tends to get you really heartbroken in these types of situations. So you're being guided so that you don't repeat that pattern, right? So that this time you can be a bit more logical about it. in touch with your emotions about the experience when it feels good, that's wonderful. But when your emotions are not making you feel very good, that's when especially you need to really detach from those emotions and try to get a higher perspective on what's going on. And again, we have a message of not trying to rush anything because we have the Eight of Wands reversed. You probably have a tendency to want to rush into a situation when you can tell that someone has feelings for you or someone really cares about you. You try to rush in and like claim it right away because you're so scared. I feel like that the emotions make you very scared of getting hurt, but your response, your emotional reactivity, the urgency that you feel of connecting to someone emotionally, that is the obstacle. You have a tendency to feel like you have to rush in this gush of emotions. And that itself is what ends up getting you hurt. But the reason you do that is to try to protect yourself. So they're just giving you some awareness here that if you hadn't already come to this awareness, then now you know. It's better just to hold back and take your time right now, Yeah, and this Sasquatch guide is saying, as well as I do, that you get attached and you get sort of codependent. You know that this is a pattern. I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. And I'm simply telling you this so that you can avoid any sort of future catastrophe. Whenever you feel doubtful that this is going to work out, whenever you feel this fear that you're going to lose out on this potential source of love, remind yourself that you are your own greatest source of love and seek that love and beauty within yourself. You're like this beautiful pearl here. So I feel like it's like, slow down, appreciate yourself. Don't allow yourself to get so worried. The best way to take advantage of this opportunity is to do that. Slow down. Don't make any rash movements. Don't make any rash decisions about how to act in this situation, because when you do that, it's just your attempt to alleviate the emotional discomfort that you're having. But in the end, it actually creates more emotional discomfort because you've acted in an emotional way that is, maybe just jumping too quickly before you even really know what you want to do, before you even really know exactly what's going on here. So any final thoughts? I feel like if you have two people that you're trying to choose from, and maybe that's part of what's making you so emotionally sort of confused and feeling like you have to jump in. Well, one of the messages is you've had someone who's like a King of Pentacles type, so that could be an earth sign or just someone who is, like maybe more focused on the material world, very career focused, maybe even a workaholic with it reversed. I feel like you're going to have a better experience with this new person than what you've had with this other person in the past. And it's also like your intuition, your emotions get you scared, and that gets you confused about what you really want. But your intuition is actually very strong here, and you do have the strength to make the right choice. But you're going to be able to make the best choice partly by just slowing down, like really just slowing down. Now, since we had this cover card, I am going to go ahead and read the message from the book for you just to sum up. In my normal spirit guide readings, I obviously don't use cover cards, for the purchased ones. So this, sometimes I will throw in an oracle card anyway, though, just for fun. But anyway, let's just see what this says. These messages are always really good. Fiscal 60. Okay. Planet Earth is a great initiation for the soul, and life lessons are the curriculum for which we enroll. These aren't one-time lessons, but themes we choose to circle around, deepening our experience of them as we make our way through the spiral of life. Life lessons aren't only about getting it right, they're also about getting it wrong. Remembering that Earth is a planet of polarity helps with this understanding. Each year, the study deepens more and more. If you pull this card while you're going through a difficult time, you're being prompted to remember that your soul came here to grow and learn. Try not to look at difficult times as getting it wrong. Instead, see them as opportunities for soul growth. If you can find a way to grow and soften your heart through the highs and lows, your soul is most definitely growing, which is the whole point. So whatever this lesson is here, for one thing, you don't need to jump the gun because there's no way that you can do this wrong. But this probably is a lesson that you have circled around many times. I mean, we got that very message in the reading. And because of that, you know, you have an opportunity to approach it differently this time and see if approaching it in this different way maybe works out a little better for you. And if it doesn't, then it's okay because you still learned something in the process. You can't really lose here. Pulling this card can also mean that you're being called to embark on a new area of study or growth. This could be through structured learning. If you're having difficulties in a relationship, you're being reminded that these are opportunities for soul growth. After all, relationships are known as the #1 way that we grow as souls while we're here on Earth. How are you being called to grow or learn? So I think that's an added message to maybe like reduce the emotional discomfort of this situation, is just to keep reminding yourself, like, we're all just here as souls trying to learn and grow. You know, it's not a big catastrophe, even if this doesn't work out, you know, the way that you feel now would be best. It's sort of just thinking of it that way, it maybe lessens the pressure a little bit. You shouldn't be putting too much pressure on this. You should just actually be backing off of it and taking your time to figure it out. When you know what to do, back to that full card, when you know what to do here in this situation, you will absolutely know, and there will be nothing to hold you back. So until you have that feeling of like, I know exactly what to do about this, then just don't do anything except try to understand the situation better. So until then, it's more about internal, you know, just processing it internally, enjoying the good emotions. And when you feel those negative emotions, detach and sort of examine them. Like, why am I feeling this way? What does it mean? What can I learn from this? And then you can release it. You don't have to keep feeling that difficult or negative emotion. That doesn't serve you, but it does bring your awareness to, hey, I need to think about, why do I feel this way? So I can understand myself better, and I can understand what I want out of this situation better. So I think that was a really helpful message. I hope that you found it to be as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Hello, #2 people. Welcome to your reading. So the very first thing that we're going to do is just figure out who this spirit guide is that is wanting to speak to you. Okay, we have an angel and just dropping in. So the just dropping in, it just means that this is not necessarily, I mean, we have different types of guides, and some that are just with us kind of like for long term, and some just drop in to help us teach and learn or help support us in specific situations, and then when that situation is resolved, then they're out. Oh, and we also have Archangel. So I wonder, I have some angel decks. I'm trying to figure out if I have a deck that would help me figure out which angel in particular. Give me just a moment. Okay, yes, I found this Angel Prayers deck. It has some specific angel names in it, I believe. Yes, it does. So is this angel in this deck? Okay, let's see. No. Well, this angel, it says the angel is not in the deck, but it could be someone who has a similar energy to Archangel Azrael. You know, Archangel Azrael is about change and transition. I think that Azrael is an angel that helps with the death, like crossing over process. But it would be some sort of, I mean, there are lots of archangels, right? I certainly don't know them all. But it would be one that maybe helps you move on from a situation. Because it says, I'm sorry, righting past wrongs. Maybe an angel whose job it is to help people forgive other people or seek amends, you know, find closure maybe in a relationship where there's been a lot of pain, I feel like. We also have spirit animal reversed and express your creativity. Whoops. It could just be also, in addition to this angelic message, maybe you have been receiving messages from a particular spirit animal, and this guide wants you to pay attention to that. I also feel like in order to process this sorrow about like some sort of painful ending with someone where you're trying to move on and maybe forgive and forget, that type of thing, they're just saying maybe it would help if you got these feelings out of you through some sort of self-expression. Okay, so that was somewhat helpful, and I guess somehow this deck got water on it because the cards are kind of bent. It's okay, it's not messed up bad, but all right. So I'm going to use tarot to get a more thorough message than just that, but that's who your guide is. It's an archangel that's helping you with this particular moving on process. And let's see, I feel like I'm drawn to this deck over here. Okay, so what does the angel want to say? Yes. Eight of Cups reversed. You're having trouble moving on. You're having trouble with the forgiving and forgetting and finding closure and all that. And this is keeping you from your happiness. You have so much happiness available to you. Maybe you're even feeling happier, because even in reverse, the Sun card is good. But your angel is like, listen, you have so much more happiness available to you if you can process this and move on. This, I feel like it may, I mean, it was someone who you saw being in your life long term in some way, and I think that's part of why it's so difficult. You may have built up an image in your head of what your future was going to be like with this person, and part of what is making it so hard for you to move on is you are grieving the loss of this life that you had envisioned. I feel like your angel guide does feel that you are eventually going to be very successful, though, in getting to a point of closure. And the best way to do that is to think about what really makes you happy, you know. And I'm feeling like probably this person didn't. You know, this was not, you had an idea of what this was going to be, right? But I think your angel is feeling a little bit differently about it. Like if you really thought about it, what makes you happy versus what was this person's potential to make you happy, or your potential to make each other happy. It wasn't as great as what you thought that it was. You know, so you're still clinging to some hope of your happiness being fulfilled with this person. Your angel is saying it is hard work to do this. And it's scary, partly moving on is scary, partly because we don't know what the future holds. And kind of in both of these cards, her vision is blocked. Her vision is blocked because it's hard to move on, and it's a burden to do so. And her vision is blocked because she's not seeing how much strength she has to actually take control of the situation. Your angels are also saying this part of your journey is not something that we can do for you. There are times and certain ways, and obviously they're giving you guidance right now, but they're saying this isn't a problem that your guides can solve. You will have to solve this within your own self. How to make that last final movement to really find closure. And, you know, nothing dramatic is going to happen in your life by letting go of this person. My feeling is that this person is probably not even in your life anymore anyway. It's more about kind of emotionally and mentally, and I'm getting the word psychically as well, letting go of this person. But you don't have to fear that some major change or disruption is going to come into your life because you've let them go on those levels. This person wasn't really that involved in your life. You had built up, you know, some idea of what it would be like if that happened, I feel like. So that's one thing that they're saying. You know, think about that. Like, what am I really losing by just finally letting go? And what am I blocking by not just moving on? I feel like you really wanted a very close spiritual bond, and you may very well have a very spiritual or like soul level connection with this person, and that's very real. But just because your souls have this connection does not mean that you're going to be able to figure out how to harmonize with each other, how to balance each other out, how to come into this solid bond. You know, there is a spiritual connection, but it's hard to, like, I feel like it's hard to ground it into like a more real experience. Is there, I mean, what can the viewer do differently? Plant a seed. It isn't necessarily that you have to work on it. It's more like set it and forget it. Plant the seed that closure is happening, and then just forget it. And if painful emotions arise, just deal with them as they arise. If you still have moments where all of a sudden you start thinking about this person and it makes you sad, just let it go in the moment. Release those emotions. But it's not as if on like a day-to-day basis that you really have to be actively working about on the closure. That's actually, I feel like they're saying that's kind of the opposite of what you have to do, because working on finding closure just still keeps your mind and your heart involved with that person. So it's more like just make the decision and then let it go. You know, of course there are going to be moments when this person still comes to your mind. And if there are emotions that come up regarding that, you'll feel them and you'll let those go. Yeah, it's really, I feel like this is not as difficult as it seems. Maybe you're having a little bit of a struggle with this, but you're your guide is saying this isn't going to be that difficult. It's just you make the choice, you plant the seed, I've let go. You know, maybe you even want to do some sort of ritual. This makes me even think about maybe doing some sort of sigil magic, and that's how that, I don't do that. I've never done that myself. But I mean, I think that the whole idea is that you create the sigil, and then the idea is you're supposed to forget what it even symbolizes. And that's part of how it works so well, is you set it and forget it. But whether you do that or not, it's just, you know, like set the intention, like I've let go. I'm letting go. And then I think just move on and like occupy yourself with other projects and activities that are fun and enjoyable. You know, I feel like you are probably someone who's had a lot of difficulty, particularly with romantic connections. But your angel wants you to like not give up. Don't give up on it, but you do need to let go of this. Don't give up on the idea that you will find an ideal romantic experience, a romantic partnership that does bring you this full level of happiness. But you don't have to like, I don't know, it's like you don't have to control it so much. You don't have to control, even the letting go process. It's not something that really requires control. It requires letting go. I'm just going to see what this says in summary, this message from the book, because I feel like we've gotten as far as we can with the tarot on that. So let's see here. I'm sorry. We're living in divisive times. When we're hurt and triggered, we tend to see things as a personal attack rather than an opportunity for healing. If we're to find true peace and unity, we need to drop our defenses and see things outside of right and wrong. As souls, we intrinsically remember unity and yearn for it here on earth. Perhaps this is why it feels so painful when we experience the opposite. But it's crucial to remember that we can't simply bypass reality and pretend that unity, love, and forgiveness are here. This is one of the greatest challenges for starseeds. To bring about unity, we must first acknowledge the ways in which both we and the world have been divisive. The shadows hate wounds, separation, severing wrongs, and sadness. You may be called to explore how you, your ancestors, or your society have, consciously or unconsciously, inflicted pain on others. To find a way to drop the armor around your heart and see things as they truly are for all people. To say, I'm sorry, with an open heart and mean it. To be part of the healing rather than the perpetuation of inherited conflict or oppression. This isn't about blame, it's about unwinding the patterning that got us here. You may be called to devote your time to causes you believe in, or do healing work on your ancestral line. How are you being called to drop your defenses and unwind past wrongs? Yeah. So, I mean, it could all also just be saying that part of the reason it's difficult to let go is you may still be placing blame on this person for the fact that things did not turn out the way that you had envisioned them so clearly. So it could be time to sort of see that, you know, it could be both of, you know, maybe something about both of you led to that outcome. Maybe it was circumstances beyond your control. Maybe it was all of the above. But this is a time to allow things to move on. You know, change needs to happen in order for you to progress in your life and get that happiness that you thought you were seeking with this person. You will have it, but you have to allow the change to happen. You have to allow this person out of your life so that this new joy can come in. Let me see. Yeah, final fortune cookie message for you guys. I didn't do this for the other reading, but the learned Chinese word is park. I feel like you've parked yourself in the middle of this letting go process. You're supposed to be taking a journey here, and you pulled over and you parked. You maybe made part of the journey and then you stopped. So you have made progress. So I feel like it's that's the first part of it. Like, notice, acknowledge to yourself, I have moved on considerably. Like, I have made progress. But right now I'm a little bit parked. And your angel is encouraging you to start your car back up and get out of park. And then it says, a smile increases your face value. So I think as just a final message, when you do have a difficult time in this moving on process, just remind yourself of that. Smiling. It was funny because I was just thinking about this like an hour ago or an hour or two ago. So that's funny that it came out on the fortune cookie card. When you smile, because mind, body, and spirit are connected, because we have this psychosomatic connection, right? When you smile, even if you don't feel like smiling, just smile right now and let this smile stay there. It feels a little bit silly at first, but it will actually make you feel better. Also, like just making yourself laugh, even if it's not real laughter, can also like make you feel better. So it could be a reminder of just, when your mood gets a little bit low, when you do feel maybe tearful, sad, having those feelings of grief about this process, that could be a way of just lightening yourself up in the moment very easily and quickly. Or find something else that lightens your mood. With the Page of Wands that we saw earlier, just do something, distract yourself from this by doing something that's fun. Like maybe do something new that you've never done before, or go on a trip, or just do something that feels fun, adventurous, lighthearted. But don't just park yourself and feel sad and not do anything with your life because you're like, oh, moving on is too hard, so I'm just not going to do anything. Definitely, make the most of this time by doing fun things and keeping yourself smiling. So I hope that you enjoyed that message. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. All right, welcome to everybody who chose option number 3, I remember. So the first thing we're going to do is just kind of figure out who this guide of yours is. Okay, so it says higher self, Archangel in another star system. So this guide is very connected to you at the level of your higher self. It is an angelic guide, and it's a guide that is connected to another star system. So that's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. It's not really surprising that angels would be not just in this star system, but other star systems. But I don't know who that would be, like in terms of a name of who that might be, I would have no idea. But let's just clarify. What do you mean about It could also mean that this is an archangel. Oh yeah, this could be an archangel that is helping you to connect to your own star seed origins. Oh, I feel like that's what it is, especially with this card here. It says, I remember, soul plan. So yeah, this angel wants to kind of help you reconnect with your star seed origins, because that also helps you to understand your life more from the perspective of your higher self. I think higher self has come up in all three readings. So this is interesting. Okay, so what does this Archangel guide want you to know? So you don't remember. You probably don't remember your star system of origin, or maybe you don't have any specific memories, or you don't have any specific knowledge of what that is. Maybe you do have a sense that you're a star seed or where you might be from, but it's like there's something that you don't remember about it. And because you don't remember this, maybe you don't remember what it was like in that star system, or something that you don't remember is making it difficult for you, maybe to work your life purpose here in this present incarnation here on Earth. Because it seems like you are meant to take some sort of position of leadership and authority. There is some life purpose work that either you haven't started working on it, or you have, but you haven't fulfilled this purpose yet. And part of what is keeping you from being able to fulfill it is this lack of knowledge from another star system that you are connected to in your higher self. So what is it that needs to be remembered? You may have experienced people who were in that star system, people who were very powerful, capable magicians, or like just people who had a lot of influence. I feel like you were caused pain. There's even a part of your soul, and of course you don't remember this, but there is a part of your soul which even has a little bit of a misgiving towards a particular star system. It might not even be your star system of origin, but may be just a star system that you have incarnated on. And there's something you need to know about that lifetime that helps you to fulfill your life purpose now. But you yourself even feel a little bit skeptical of maybe your connection to that star system. Whether you're consciously aware of that or not, your soul has some sort of skepticism about it. It's like there was something about your experience on that star system where you didn't know who to trust. You know, the magician can be a trickster, they can be a manipulator. And that doesn't mean that they were, but you experienced pain, and you may have thought that it was caused by someone. I feel like this person definitely, at the very least, caused you unhappiness. There was unhappiness between you and this person. And they either deceived you or you felt like they did. And I feel like this same person and you have incarnated together into this life. There's been something that has been set in motion between the two of you in this present incarnation. But again, it's like the energy is uncomfortable. Like they seem like a nice person, They seem nice and loving in this lifetime, but there's something that you can't place where you're like, I don't understand. Why do I not trust this person? Why am I sort of afraid that this person is out to get me? It's because you had this past lifetime where something dubious happened, or you thought. It's still not clear. Did the person actually do you wrong in that lifetime? No, they didn't, but whatever they did seemed wrong, or you thought that it was. So, but you perceived it that way in that lifetime, so your soul still carries this sort of like grudge or like distrust because you distrusted them so strongly in that lifetime. So it's carrying into this lifetime. Now you have some sort of soul life purpose in this particular lifetime regarding this person that you are meant to carry out, but it's hard for you to, it's like they seem really nice, but there's something that I can't understand. It's just this past lifetime stuff. And they didn't actually do anything purposefully to harm you. The answer to that was no, they did not. But they probably had some sort of like romantic attraction to you, because we get the Lovers reversed and the Devil, but it would not have been very stable. It probably was very codependent. There was something about it that was probably toxic, even in that lifetime. But you may have interpreted this. I mean, their behavior was based on, they may have been even kind of obsessed with you or something. So their behavior came across to you as, this person is trying to hurt me. But I really feel like it was, but like they really were very attracted to you and interested in you. I think that whatever happened in that lifetime, it just caused a lot of turmoil. It caused a lot of heartache, and it feels like it's sort of bleeding over into this lifetime as well. From one star system to the next, it's been brought back in. How is the other person feeling this in this lifetime? They're feeling okay. I mean, they do see you as the Empress reversed, and that can be a little bit negative. You know, like seeing a woman as maybe like manipulating people, like a woman trying to make people attracted to her, or like play games. They could think that you're trying to play games with them. But I feel like they do, even in this lifetime, this person has some sort of serious intentions with you, which could be romantic. It feels sort of romantic, but it also could be that they have some intentions to work with you. So what do you, other than this fact that your distrust of them is misplaced, because it was based on a misplaced trust in a previous lifetime. Other than that, like, what do the viewers of number 3 need to know about this person in the current lifetime? Yeah, there's something that draws the two of you together, but it feels like, you know, it's just that you're drawn to each other. There's some sort of communication that someone wants to communicate here very strongly, but it would require for them to be able to express. I think it's the other person. I think they want to express something to you very strongly, but in order to do that, there's some big change that would have to take place, or they would have to make some sort of big change, and they're worried about that change because it might cause problems for them financially, or like just with their overall feeling of security in their life. I feel like they just want to kind of take their time because they have some kind of concerns about money. Something about money and work. Yeah. I mean, this person might feel like you're trying to free load off of them or something, or that's your intent. Because there's a little bit, I mean, there's a little bit of distrust from them to you in this lifetime as well, which might be partly also based in this weird past life where you know, where you all had this weird situation. Is there anything that you can do on your end to sort of like resolve this? Just be kind to this person. You can trust them. I feel like this person will be more decisive at some point. Like they do want to take their time now because they like you. I feel like they very much like you, but they're also just not trusting you right now. You're both having difficulty trusting each other. So try to see the good in this person. You know, be nice to them. And I feel like at some point, yeah, they'll be very decisive. I mean, they know what they want. It's just they want to take their time with it because they are not really sure what you're after here. Any final thoughts? You know, don't let yourself feel insecure. If you start to feel sort of insecure and worried about this situation, then, you know, just take a few deep breaths and bring yourself back to a sense of peace. Anytime that happens, just try to bring yourself back to a sense of peacefulness. Remind yourself, like, okay, you know, I know I've been told there's no reason to distrust this person. You know, there's no reason to worry about this. All right, so let me also finally, since we had these cover cards, and I love the messages from this book, I just want to read that to kind of end the reading here. Yeah, wasn't that an interesting message? Like that's what I'm always so surprised at in these spirit guide readings is like the messages that come through are always so interesting and like unexpected. 76. Okay. There was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of the life you're living right now. When you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life. We live in a world of free will, and therefore, these moments become our destiny only through saying yes. The fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses, and it takes courage and faith. If you pull this card, it's because you're likely now face to face with the choice to follow the destiny life over the fated life. Okay, the fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses. So I guess it's just reminding you that you have free will. To trust the path your soul is calling you toward, and to remember that this moment was prearranged on your life's timeline. You may find yourself at a crossroads, at a moment when you're being called to make a decision, to keep walking the perfectly laid out path before you, or choose the one less traveled. You may be facing a change of career, a new relationship, a difficult decision, or something else that requires courage and faith. You're being invited to remember your soul's greater plan and to surrender to it. When you're confronted with a path that's undefined, it's normal for doubt to rear its head. In fact, this is a certain sign that you're facing your soul's greater plan. Every hero in his or her life journey comes eye to eye with doubt. The only way around it is through it. It's all part of the larger plan. What are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan? So when you feel doubt, that is a sure sign that you are facing your soul's greatest plan. I don't really understand what they're saying here. Okay, you need to make a decision to keep walking the perfectly laid out path before you, or choose the one less traveled. Yeah. In this type of situation, what have you normally done? Maybe you normally let fear get in the way. You let distrust. Maybe you have trust issues, and that's normally the pattern you get into, is you allow your trust issues to overcome your decision-making abilities. So why not choose the path less traveled and, listen to this reading and actually be willing to trust this person? Now, of course, remember that this is, if you got to this point of the reading, I would assume that you felt like this was resonating for you and it made sense. But, always be in touch with your own intuition. There's some people who clearly shouldn't be trusted. If someone is abusive to you, then obviously you shouldn't trust that person. If you know for sure, like that you have clear evidence that someone has deceived you multiple times or betrayed you, then obviously you shouldn't trust that person. But if this reading has made sense to you and you just felt like an unclear reason, like feel like I'm not sure if I can trust this person, but I don't really know why, then it is probably just this. There's no reason really to distrust them, but you've had some sort of past lifetime where you didn't. And even in that lifetime, that distrust was misplaced. So choose the path less traveled. Don't do what you've done already in another lifetime. Allow yourself to actually trust them in this lifetime. And that will be the path less traveled. And it seems like that's more like what your soul really wants to experience. Your soul wants to experience going down a different pathway so you can see what you find down that new pathway. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got a helpful message out of this, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.